Chad Ikes, Tammy Lopes, here with American Iron Gym Podcast. Today's episode is actually going to be an interview with Chris Duffin.
Which I don't get to go to. I'm really bummed. The boys are going to go without me all the way to Portland. Oregon.
10-hour drive, long drive, but Chris is a pretty unbelievable lifter. He's done numerous world records, amazing lifts. But on top of that, he's a super intelligent guy, and he's doing a lot of new things in the sport, technique-wise, training-wise, rehab-wise.
I think that's why he intrigues me so much, because he really thinks out of the box. He doesn't accept what's always been done, and he's totally breaking all paradigm with powerlifting. He's an engineer.
Yes.
And he's taken that ability to think and figure out mechanics and movement and how everything works together and apply it to the human body.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, I think that's where it came from, his background as an engineer and just the way he studied in his life. And so he looks at everything just a little bit different.
Yeah.
And he's coming at it different. He's made some crazy equipment with the shoulder rock and in the Duffalo bar, and he's got actually more things coming out within the next couple of years. And it's just, like, being in powerlifting so long, it's really awesome to see new things still coming out and new technology. And I'm just really looking forward to it. I mean, you never quit learning. And here's a guy who can still teach me some new stuff.
Absolutely, every day, right? I mean, there's so many amazing minds in powerlifting now. And even this, do you know, this is my 40th year in the gym?
That's
40 years, right? Woohoo! And I learn something every day from you guys. And that's what's cool about the sport. It never gets old because of that.
Well, and I think Duffin is one of the major, say, factors in what's going on with that, because he is coming at it from that different level. And I'm seriously excited to go up and talk to him. And I think I'm going to learn a ton of stuff. I'm
sure you guys are. So I'm thinking this will be a long interview.
Could be, yeah.
I mean, there's so much depth to Chris and his history and where he came from, which was...
Yeah, his whole story is interesting.
That is as intriguing to me as anything else, right? So I think that this is going to probably be 2 weeks. So we'll have Chris Duffin part one and part two. I can't wait, you guys. I'm jealous.
All right.
But at least I get to see the outcome of it, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
So let's go to the interview.
All right.
Chad Ikes, Jesse Anderson, here with American Iron Gym Podcast. Today, very special guest, Chris Duffin, the mad scientist.
Very special. And sometimes not good ways.
Special. You know I like using quotes. Very special.
Special.
If you don't know Chris Duffin, you should. And his accomplishments are more than my brain will remember. So I'm going to let him talk a little bit about that first.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. My accomplishments. You know, I was pretty decent.
You were pretty decent?
I was pretty decent.
You're still not bad, even today.
Slightly above average. Oh, I don't know. Lifting stuff. Been competing for 16 years. Set all the double APF records, like I think in the 198 or 220 class. I think they're still staying today for squat, bench, deadlift, and total. I've set some all-time records a few times on the squat. Chased the all-time total record. Never pulled that one together. Set the Guinness record on most deadlifted in a minute and most squatted in a minute. Both those have been since beaten, but you know, I did those. That's it. You know, gym lift. I'm king of YouTube, king of Instagram as far as lifting there. So you know, but my best competition squat was 881 in knee wraps at 220, and one of those few really big squats that nobody, you know, talks shit about depth on.
Yeah.
So it was a nice nailed, clean squat.
I believe I actually sent you a text saying that was beautiful.
I think I might have. Known for, almost doubling 900 in the gym a number of years ago on the deadlift, back when I was actually close to a true 220. And actually recent training cycle, I hit 944 squat. So that's kind of where yeah, that's the accomplishment stuff. So
Okay.
on that end, so on the lifting side, which is, some people.
Now
They
there's
tend
probably quite a bit out there about your history, which is
Yeah, there
a
is.
little unusual.
It is
Just
a
like
little
you're
unusual.
kind of a good lifter, your history's kind of unusual.
A little unusual, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how you grew up.
Well, my parents didn't really fit into society too well, and had just different lifestyle choices. So it's just different. It's not it's not hard. I don't want to make it sound hard, but
Right.
it's just different. And before I jump into it, just say that it's not like people look at, wow, I need a crazy life story like that to do amazing things. You don't.
Right.
What you make of yourself is a choice. It's who you decide to be. So this story should be able to articulate just like how far you can actually make that be.
Right.
Not about, oh, you need this as a pass to make do epic things. You don't. Just shows you how far you can come if you choose that this is somebody I want to be, this is the person I want to be, and this is what I want to do in the world. You can do it.
Right. Which everybody should do at some point in their life.
Yes.
Take responsibility and make that choice, who I want to be.
That's right.
No matter what happened.
That's right. But yeah, essentially grew up homeless. So a lot of it in the woods of Northern California early on. We were taken in by the state for a year. I've got 3 younger sisters and a younger brother. And you grew up, we learned things like, what mushrooms are good, what are bad. We do foraging, a lot of poaching.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of killing rabbits and stuff like that. Maybe the occasional cook a porcupine. It's
Yeah.
a good thing to know good thing to know that you've got to get them clean fast, and also they're a little hard to skin.
Yeah.
And bullets don't kill them really well. Their skulls are really thick. It's kind of a manual process. Like we'd set jugs of water out in the sun, like once a week, fill them in the creek and set them out so that, you could bathe and that sort of stuff. And oftentimes we'd have homes like during the school year. We always were just out camping
Right.
during the summer.
Extended
But sometimes they
camping
were, like condemned houses,
Right.
no doors, no insulation, no, just like studs, and that's pretty much it. Other times, varying degrees of that, maybe no running water, maybe it had electricity, stuff like that, and so that was kind of life growing up, and we stabilized around high school, so we were up in Oregon by then.
Mm-hmm.
After we were taken by the state, parents moved, were able to get us back through family members, and they kind of refell back into the same routines pretty quickly. And then, but by high school, my stepfather had won like some disability settlement, and they bought a mobile home, and we moved into a mobile home. Didn't have doors still, and we had to build the kitchen out of 2x4s and that sort of stuff. But
Pretty fancy.
But had running water, had electricity. It was pretty cool. When we moved out, the fire department did burn it down because it wasn't safe to live in. But for us, it was pretty stinking awesome. And and I did pretty well in athletics, academics, that sort of stuff. And then ended up getting a full ride scholarship to go to school. And in the process of
for academics, though.
for academics, yeah. I was supposed to wrestle in college, and I ended up getting a full ride to a school that didn't have it. So it's like, let me use this little brain for a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna take you up on that. And yeah, a couple years in, things got really bad at home, and I ended up taking custody of my 3 younger sisters. Ended up raising them while I finished out one at a time, raising them while I finished out my engineering degrees, and then while I worked on that, I went and got an MBA too, and I was raising them during the course of that as well, and I was working full time during all that, of course, too, because money's got to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
I wasn't really in a situation to have some sort of fallback plan, so that was the younger years. So interesting.
So was that?
Different.
I mean, like, I don't imagine you being the poor me, I got to do this kind of guy. I imagine you going, this is what's got to be done, so I'm going to do it.
I never really even thought about that. Like I said, I don't consider any of it hard. It was just like, what would anybody else do in those situations? I mean, that's just what you need to do. My sisters needed help.
Except that it wasn't really what anybody would do. It's what anybody should do, but it's not.
Maybe. I've heard that. But to me, it's just like, that's just what you do. And so that's what I did. And like I said, I still had the last of the three living with me when I ended up, buying a house and living with my wife. And she was still with us the first year there. So that was, it's just been a part of, like, that's just part of my life.
Yeah.
And I've got a really good relationship with the three of them. So they're very, very close, very important to me. So
is there a certain point in your life where you kind of realized that the way you guys were living wasn't exactly normal? Or is it kind of in the back of your head and you just kind of...
It just what it was. I mean, I was definitely embarrassed by it when I was younger. So, I didn't have a lot of friends, and I didn't, I just didn't like... I just thought that that's the way that people, because we literally were living in a trailer down by the river, We got there was a number of years, there was family of 6 living in a 16-foot trailer, right?
Yeah.
On less than $10,000 a year.
Financially, that's pretty amazing, though, actually.
I don't know. I don't remember ever thinking other than, just being maybe embarrassed among my peers and stuff. So, I mean, I remember I'd work odd jobs and, help family with money. And then in high school, I started working quite a bit, evenings and weekends, while I was doing sports and over the summer. And, a lot of that money went to the family. And that's just what it was. And that's, when you look back on history, that's how things used to be all the time.
Absolutely.
So it's like, you can't say, oh, woe is me or this or that. It's just different than what most people experience today, right? Just like living in the woods and killing animals and foraging for food. Pretty standard way to live not too long ago, honestly. So it's not like, oh, all those poor souls from years ago, It's just very different. It gives you a very different perspective on life, I think. But yeah, when I went to college, it was like nobody knew my background or history or whatever, and it's like, wow, this feels different. Because it's just like I was just another person,
Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed part 1 of our interview with Chris Duffin, and next week we'll be posting part 2, so you can see the end of it.
I cannot wait to see the rest of this. This was incredible.
It was good. It was a good time.
Yeah,
it was really cool to hang out with him.
It's quite an opportunity and an honor to be able to spend some time with that man.
Very much, very much. Even for me.
Yeah. Hopefully we can get him here, right?
That would be awesome. Get him here to do a seminar.
We'll see you next Monday morning at 6 a.m. for the rest of this amazing podcast. See you next week.
Thanks for tuning in.